Tracy Lamar McGrady Jr., born May 24, 1979. Today's feature is a player that has made the Basketball Hall of Fame, was a 7-time All-Star, and led the league in scoring twice in his career. He entered the league at the young age of 18, and by 32, he was out of it. He made it past the first round of the playoffs only one time in his career, even though he's regarded as one of the best players of the 2000s. He's even quoted by the late Kobe Bryant as the toughest player he's ever had to guard. And T-Mac was tough. He's listed at 6'8", could shoot from anywhere, post up, pass, and most importantly, he was as exciting a player to watch in his generation. I can go on and on about the accomplishments of T-Mac, but yet if you search his name and Hall of Fame, you'll see there's many doubters and people that can't believe he was inducted, let alone first ballot. For as short a peak he had, not going to college and building that resume, and as mentioned before, never leading a team past the first round all but once in his career, and at that time he wasn't even the team's best player. One could argue he wasn't even the team's second best player when seeing that Meta World Peace averaged more than him, defended better, rebounded better, shot better, and played double the games Tracy played. With that said, I understand the confusion about McGrady's Hall of Fame status, but confusion about his career is not where he was supposed to have ended up, as good a talent he possessed. This guy had the skills, persona, and everything else to be a surefire Hall of Famer, top 5 small forward of all time, and at least the best of his generation, which now incomparably goes to Kobe Bryant or Tim Duncan. Let's talk about this confusion and 3 reasons that growth to be the best of a generation was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth. Let's get it. Tracy McGrady was a unicorn of a basketball player, beginning as a high school standout in 1999 all the way to 2008. He was one of the only small forwards in that span that could dominate you as a point guard, shooting guard, and at his listed small forward position. He was born in Bartow, Florida, and participated in multiple sports, including baseball, before transferring to Mount Zion Christian Academy for his senior season. And this is where his legend is most notably known to have began. As a junior, he was listed as the 175th best player until a summer at the famed ABCD camp saw him top the ranking by the time the camp was finished, and rightfully so. I can't even fathom a player at that time being a better high school prospect than McGrady. I mean, what wasn't there to like? He went on to become a McDonald's All-American and National Player of the Year. Oh, and Mr. Basketball for the state of Florida. He averaged 27.5 points, 8.7 rebounds, 7.7 assists, 2.8 steals, and 2 blocks a game. At this point, he had his choice of schools and even intended on playing for Kentucky, but decided to take his shot directly at the NBA. Stunt number 1, late development. Drafted 9th overall by Toronto in 1997, a part of why many people are confused about Tracy's Hall of Fame accomplishments is because of how short-lived his ascendance and dominance was. Beginning in the 2000-2001 season and ending in 2007-08, his dominance only came from 2002 to 2004, and that dominance was only in one area, scoring. One of those years he missed the playoffs altogether, and the other a first-round exit. So while he was an exciting player my generation grew to love, his reign wasn't as clear-cut as other Hall of Famers, and he was never on top or even close as a winner. Even my most recent feature, Grant Hill, arguably had a better basketball career, seeing as in college he was the best player on that level at some point, won 2 chips, and came into the league being an all-star in just his rookie season and would be for 2 straight years following. And even he is questioned for his Hall of Fame status. McGrady's growth wasn't so instant, and for simple reasons. Having dominated the ABCD camp in high school and bypassing college, that made only one full season T-Mac was tops in his class before becoming a lottery pick in the NBA. He didn't have years as the best player in high school, and he didn't go to college, instead thrown into the league on a team in Toronto that was one of the worst teams in basketball that year, expecting a high school rookie to carry them. While they were bad, they still had multiple double-digit scoring guys on the roster that garnered more opportunity than Tracy, and that helped fade him to the background. In his second season, Vince Carter was drafted and immediately became the team's leading scorer, best and most ready player, and face of the franchise. With lack of opportunity and a player like Vince Carter joining the team, McGrady was actually looking like a bust in his first 2 or 3 seasons in the NBA, until he went to Orlando and started to blossom. Had this been done sooner and he could have matched Vince Carter's output, Toronto could have been a nice playoff team and problem in the future had he stayed and became what he did in Orlando. Stunt number 2, the obvious. Injuries. I'm not saying that Tracy McGrady doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, just that there's confusion, questions. With an individual reign that short, you're gonna get those. Part of the reason his reign lasted only a handful of years was because of injuries that plagued him and took him out of chances to win when he had the team pieces around him to do so. T-Mac was relatively healthy for his first 8 seasons and 3 after his time in Orlando, which were his best years. He was traded to the Houston Rockets in 2004, and from then, injury began to hit him, and what he had with Yao Ming was never given a chance to materialize. After just one healthy season next to Yao in 04-05, the very next year he began to have back spasms. So much so that during a game, he had to be stretched off the floor because he was in so much pain. These spasms plagued him all year and he only played 47 games. The team failed to make the playoffs that year. In 06-07, he missed the first 7 games for the same injury but bounced back to have a relatively healthy season. But the team still lost in the first round and Yao Ming was clearly the best player on the team. In 07-08, he dealt with a shoulder, back, and knee injuries, but was still able to lead the team on a 22-game win streak at some point during the season without Yao Ming, and a 5th seed in which they lost in the first round again. In that series versus the Jazz, McGrady needed painkiller injections and fluids drained to get him on the court and was nowhere near healthy for another season. Maybe it was because of his lack of development, allowing his body to catch up to his game, or because he worked so hard to be one of the best in the league. Whatever it was, it took away a great talent that could have challenged any of his era as the best. After the 2007-08 season, he had arthroscopic surgery on his knee and shoulder and was never the same. Stunt number 3, no Robin. Not long enough anyway. Another stunt in the growth of Tracy McGrady is that he didn't have a sidekick to help carry the loads with him long enough to win at a high level or be a clear-cut Hall of Famer. Because of injuries to Grant Hill, who was supposed to have been that in Orlando, instead they played less than 50 games together in 4 years. And Yao Ming, whom he only spent 1 healthy season with, seeing as they both missed a lot of games due to injury. Going back to Toronto, he wasn't ready to even be a Robin, let alone Batman to Vince Carter, and that cost him his longevity, having to do so much with the ball in his hands later in his career that ultimately took a toll on his body until it just broke down and he became a shell of himself by 08-09. He lost all of his explosiveness and was no longer in the great physical shape he once was because he couldn't train like he wanted to due to injury. He averaged 19.6 points a game, 5.6 rebounds a game, and 4.4 assists a game in his 15-year career. All in all, T-Mac is still as beloved as they come, because at one point we had never seen a player in that mold do what he was capable of doing on any given night. He's had a great career despite the winning troubles and injuries, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2017 as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Obviously, if he made it, there's great arguments as to why, and that's fine with me. But he never really became what he could have, which was a top 5 at his position and one of the best small forward shooting guards of all time. Salute to him, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth, head him out. Also, visit stuntedgrowth3.com right now. We have some new winter merch for all your fashion needs. We have the Legends Edition package, the Championship Edition, and much more to satisfy your winter fashion. Once again, visit stuntedgrowth3.com right now. Please like and subscribe to this video for more content. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth, man. Let's get it.